meeting Tuesday, so.
We're live.
And I think Zach would vote for that, right?
Yes, sir. And I am eternally grateful.
All right. The time is 6:07. This meeting of the Fern Bluff Mud Board of Directors has come to order. Roll call of directors. All directors are present except for Director Horton. Director Smith, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I would be honored.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sorry, does anybody see a pink pen laying around anywhere? Go ahead.
Oh, we're not going to stab you in the eye with it.
Oh, I can duck better than that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Perfect, thank you.
Needs to be passed out or?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Thank you, and thank you. Oh,
It's General Manager. Do we have anybody for citizens communications this evening?
we do not, but our auditor, Don Allman, is here, ready to present our fiscal 2023 audit to the board.
Yeah. Fabulous. Well, let's go ahead and jump in to agenda item number 7, audit report for the fiscal year ending September 30, 2023. Mr. Allman?
Thank you. Well, yes, I'm Don Allman, CPA, and first off, would like to once again thank the board for choosing my firm to do the audit for Fern Bluff Mud. Very appreciate the business, and as a former resident, still always fun to come back and see how much things grow and change. We actually even got to have our granddaughter's first birthday party here in one of the Fern Bluff Mud parks, so good thanks to Jane for that. Anyways, it's always a pleasure to come back to Fern Bluff. And big thanks to the staff here. So thanks to Debbie Tran for all the accounting information. Thanks to Hector for the rate information. And I usually always compare Jamie to a Super Bowl MVP. We haven't had Super Bowl yet this year. We are early this year. We usually do it in February. We should move to January. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say Jamie is the Lamar Jackson of Fern Bluff.
Oh, my goodness, thank you.
Predictions made.
We'll see in 3 weeks if I'm right.
Love it.
I'm writing that down. Let's see.
Or Christian account. So if you have your reports there with you, we'll go now to page 5. And this is the statement of net position, basically the balance sheet for Fern Bluff Mud, 2023, 2022. Side by side, current other assets, that's basically just all the bank accounts, checking accounts, cash and cash equivalents for Fern Bluff Mud, also the accounts receivable for water, wastewater, and sanitation. $7,264,872. That is up from $6,831,521. So we're up about $433,000 in your current assets. That's of course good. Your capital and non-current assets, basically that's all the fixed assets, depreciable assets here from Bluff Mud. $13,501,567. That's down from $13,726,846. If you ever have trouble sleeping, you can look back in the back at the depreciation schedule. I think you actually added $438,000 of mostly what park improvements last year. Depreciation is actually $663,000. So that's the reason for that $225,000 decrease. Your depreciation is just a little higher than what was added in improvements. Total assets, $20,766,539, up $208,000 from the $20,558,367 in the prior year. Deferred outflows of resources is a pension number, doesn't really affect the Fern Bluff Mud directly. You do have to include it in your audit. $135,000, up from about $89,000. Current liabilities, that's mostly going to be accounts payable, $568,000 up from $566,000. Very slight $2,000 increase there. Long-term liabilities, $142,612 up from $85,000. Y'all might be thinking, wait a minute, we don't have any liabilities. No, don't. That is your pension liability, which not really a liability. I mean, unless the pension ever fails, then you might have to, I've talked about this every year, almost 6 or 7 years ago, they changed it where pensions have to be included. But again, those would only be payable by the district in the event of a pension failure. So, it's have to record it in the audit, but it's not really liability. Total liability, $710,651. About $59,000 in reserve deferred inflows of resources. Another pension number doesn't really affect the district directly, $258,925. Your net investment capital assets, basically that's kind of the value of all your depreciable assets minus depreciation minus the loans payable. There are no loans payable, so it's the same balance as above, $13,501,000 down from $13,726. Restricted, that's just reserved for, reserve accounts, improvements, debt, so y'all don't have any debt restrictions. So there's your reserve, about $317,747. Unrestricted, free and clear, if you spend wherever the board so chooses, $6,113, or $6,113,132,432, up from the $5,726,072. So you're up just under 400,000 on your unrestricted portion, which is not a nice increase for the year. Total net position just under 20 million, 19,932,846, up from the 19,770,665. So we're up about 162,000. Let's turn now to page 6. That's your statement of activities. That's the profit and loss or income statement for Fern Bluff Mud. Again, 2023 and 2022 side by side. Your property tax revenues, $1,855,074, down slightly from the $1,878,009, so it's like right at $23,000 decrease there. Water, wastewater, and garbage revenues, $2,553,609, down ever so slightly from the $2,555,000 in the prior year, so just very slight, right at $2,000 decrease there. Other income was up quite a bit, $424,631, up from $93,668. So total revenues were $4,833,314, up from $4,527,458. So you're up $306,000 in total revenues for the year. Water, wastewater, and garbage expenses were $2,034,520, up slightly from the $1,971,553. So up about $63,000 there. Other expenses, $1,973,415, up from $1,812,050, so we're up about $160,000 there. Depreciation, as I mentioned, $663,198, up a little from $645,593 due to your additions last year. No amortization, just loans and fully paid off and fully amortized. So total expenses were $4,671,133, up from $4,431,670. So you're up about $240,000 in total expenses. Your excess or deficiency, it is positive, so that means net income. So net income for the fiscal year ended September 30, 2023 was $162,181, a little better than the $95,788. And that's all I have. Any comments or questions?
It's always confusing when we talk about the pension amounts. It shows as a liability, but because of the fund that we're in,
You will never have anything on that
unless TCDRS goes. So I just wanted to,
Almost every presentation I make, I whine about that because it used to be that would just be a footnote.
right.
And 6 or 7 years ago, they made us put it in, which thankfully it's not a big deal for y'all. You have $142,000 liability. There's cities we work with that put $1 million liability.
Wow.
And there have been cases where that made them have a negative fund balance because they had to book $1 million pension liability that they're not ever going to pay. Because the city of Chicago failed, I think, 6 or 7 years ago.
Oh,
Decided to do that.
I did appreciate the in-depth explanation of that in the packet. It was like 3 or 4 pages.
yeah.
Yeah. It was-
Well, yeah, because there's what, about 5 or 10 pension pages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it is lengthy.
cities, it's even worse. It's like 15. And I always tell people, if you really have bad insomnia, try to bring
try to understand it too, yeah.
Well.
Yeah. There you go.
I read it, my eyes open. I don't get it, how it happened. but it wasn't
Looks
a
really
drawback.
good, Don. Thank you, thank you.
Cool.
Much appreciated. Thank
Do
you.
you have any questions, board?
Don't have any.
Well,
And big thanks to Debbie for being real prompt and early.
she is excellent. Excellent. You guys are, quite the team working there. And we had to hurry things up this year too, because changing our meeting dates and everything, and she just jumped right in there. Thank you for doing that for us. We really appreciate it.
Early's always better.
It is better.
We're usually beating on doors in December to do something, but this year, just like I said, yeah, we're driving out of town.
Be careful, the roads are gonna be terrible.
More fog,
Huh?
it says more fog tonight.
Fog, yeah.
Big four-wheel drive SUV or truck.
You'll be good.
That's the other crazy.
Keep it busy.
Yeah, unless it's a dump truck.
That's why I showed up
then
late.
can't
I shut up early.
Excellent. Well, I guess we need to take a vote to accept our audit.
All right, do I have a motion to
I'll make
accept
the
the audit?
motion to accept the audit,
Motion
I'll
by Director
second it.
Smith.
2023.
Motion by Director Smith, seconded by Director Horton. All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Thanks once again
Thank
for
you
your
once again,
service.
sir.
Happy New Year.
Thank you, Don. Please be careful.
All right. Next item up, let's do consent agenda. General Manager, do we have any items to remove from the consent agenda?
I do not. I will go ahead and take this opportunity to say there are several handouts that did not make it into the packet. But they're listed as agenda items, and they're sort of laid out in the order that we're going to go. But I don't have anything to remove from our consent agenda.
Do I have a motion to pass the consent agenda?
Motion to accept the consent agenda.
Second.
All right, motion by Director Barnes, second by Director Stemko. All in favor? All right, consent agenda passes 5-0. All right, let's jump back up to agenda item number 5, Parks Committee.
Since we were having our audit and such tonight, and we're in such a downtime, as far as our parks and everything go, I suggested Texas Lawn and Garden not come tonight. What you do have in front of you is maintenance mulch for our parks. This is actually a little bit cheaper than last year, so they're holding our cost very steady. If we go ahead and get it ordered now, we can have it installed in February, which will be before spring break. So if the board is agreeable to that, getting this approved would help with the timing of it. Let me put it that way.
Okay, so this is to install playscape mulch in all parks, 5 inches in depth, at a cost of $20,750.
We lost a lot of mulch last year because of the drought. It breaks it down. And then all of a sudden we'll get, one weird rain and it
Floats away.
swells up. It swells up and then it crumbles. But this is just a maintenance issue. This is for our parks and for the safety, and it has to be done.
This is the Barton mulch?
Yes,
And if we approve this, it can be done before spring break, so
Yes.
the kids have something to play on. that's,
yes.
you
So
know,
our parks are safe. We have, obligations to keep it at 7 to 9 inch, depending on the play equipment and such. And so, that's what this is for.
I'll take the opportunity to motion that we approve this so that we keep our kids safe over spring break.
All right, motion by Director Smith to approve the proposal from Texas Lawn and Garden,
Second.
Second by Director Barnes. Any further discussion?
Discussion? I have a discussion point. So, the mud parks all use natural mulch. Some time ago, the Stone Canyon Park, again, just one, one little playscape, transitioned to a synthetic mulch, which is, the rubbery type material, which doesn't break down, it's heavier, stays in place, provides a little more cushion. A little more consistent color, doesn't fade like natural bark mulch does. You try to say it 5 times fast.
I've already tripped over my tongue.
And it's a little late in the game to ask it, but maybe we go with this time, but I don't know if that's something that the MUD might consider for future quotes, or maybe this is the time to look into it. I guess we're trying to get implementation of this in 6 weeks, 8 weeks time. Might be a little late in the plan, but I don't want to throw that out there, get in everybody's mind.
Well, my question for you on that is actually it's kind of two part. So one part is so as far as getting the synthetic mulch, what kind of volume are we looking at as compared to the volume of all the parks in the mud?
And again, and to my point, the OA is 1 park versus 5. And not only is it just 5, I think those parks are a little larger than the Stone Canyon OA park. So there is some reclamation, removal to get that, that and so forth.
Yeah.
So it's not a slam dunk. It's just, again, cross my mind, and I'm not going to say we shouldn't do this. We should do something else. No, not at all. But for consideration, perhaps next year or.
I think, yeah, definitely anything's up for consideration, but also at the same time, yes, aesthetically, it may be nicer, but I also think if we look at the greater environmental impact also, if we've got parks in Olson Meadows and Brightwater and stuff like that are a little bit closer to our sewage drains and things like that. And when you start getting those synthetic materials that are going into,
Well, these materials don't float up because they don't take on water like natural materials do. The Stone Canyon OA Park is right above the drainage. There's a word. Culvert. Swell, yes, sure, that runs between Whitewater Cove and Fern Bluff Avenue. But again, just a commentary, and I don't think there's any need for consideration further tonight, but just kind of planting the seed of consideration going forward. So
As we redo our park equipment in each park, we're going to look at different products for that. There are those, like everything else in the district. A lot of residents like the natural wood because it's obviously natural. It's not a petroleum product, et cetera, et cetera. But a lot of parks are going to either the chunky rubberized mulch or the full mats
Play
at the bottom,
Oh.
play surfaces. So I think that the board can look at those. Is it going to be cost? I think it's a good time for us to look at all of those
I
options.
think,
Yeah.
if we went with something like the mat kind of thing, something a little bit more permanent, I say permanent loosely, but if we're going to start updating things, then it's definitely something to look into. I'd definitely be interested in seeing the cost analysis between the different options.
certainly in lifespan and service cycle, things like this. And again, Director Barnes, my point is just to plant the seed.
Right.
It's a good point to introduce it.
Right.
And, that's all I had to say. So thanks for hearing me out.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. I appreciate
No,
it. I think we should look
absolutely.
at we should look at all that stuff in the future. We want to look at something that has a
We can
long
wire that
lifespan or maybe a good, hit the right economic price point where it would be better for us to go that way.
Yeah, and frankly, as we redo the various park playgrounds, that would make sense to do it then. In the meantime, we do have to, get something down there to protect the kids in the near term. Yeah, so.
Yeah.
All right. If there's no further discussion, let's go ahead and vote. All in favor of the Texas Lawn and Garden proposal to mulch all the parks? All right, motion carries 5-0. Very good. Next item on the agenda. 2024 Directors Election. You have something to say for us?
Yes.
Say to us,
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mr. President, directors. It is election time again. Just as a quick overview and reminder of the process, you'll have elections on an even number of years. This year, you have 3 positions up for reelection. The election order, I believe, is in the supplemental materials that Jenny provided you. It looks almost identical to the ones you've seen in the past, except for the dates have changed, of course. What you do not see in the order are the voting locations and election services agreement and a joint election agreement. Wilco has not published those yet, has not provided those yet. However, have been in contact with their elections administrators, and they will be forthcoming. They just said it'd be February. Normally, in the past, because y'all were so kind to reschedule your meetings on my behalf, you're being punished and have to do this earlier than you normally do. So typically we do this in February, and we already have those contracts in hand by your February meeting. But we're just ahead of the ball this time. And so among 2 other things, I'm going to be asking y'all to approve the order subject to our receipt of the election locations and the polling locations and the election contracts. I'll be asking you to authorize Janie to be your signatory for those contracts, so we don't have to pull you back together for a special meeting. And I'm going to ask you to appoint your legal counsel as the secretary's agent for election purposes. And what that means is I'll handle all of the applications. If anybody wants an application who's not already on the board, I'll provide those. I'll be the recipient and the and maintain all the election related documents. Questions?
So board members sitting on seats that are up for election, do we need to sign paperwork, whatever, to?
Yes, sir.
I
Yes, sir.
assume
And
that
I've
was
got
the case.
I've got paperwork for you. I'll ask all the 3 of you not to leave before you leave the meeting. To not leave without getting your paperwork signed. I'll be happy to notarize it for you. And obviously, anybody else who ever wants an application, they'll have my contact. Excuse me. Anybody who wants an application can get my contact information from the district's website, which directs them to me as the agent.
And it's also on the kiosks. It's posted at the kiosk, right?
There you go.
That's our
right.
notifications.
That's right.
We will
There's
have
physical notice
applications
as well.
here
Right.
at the MUD office for people to come in and get applications and
That's right.
election information.
Yeah, I think, Mr. President, you're referring to the notice about the deadline to file
Right.
the application.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
that
and
has
it
been-
is
That's
on
what's
the kiosk,
website
correct. Yes, sir.
and in the kiosks.
Yes, sir. That is all good to go. In years past, I've been, I don't know why we've never done this, but I am perfectly content with y'all, unless there's a further discussion, proving this all in one fell swoop. So again, that'd be approving the order subject to Jenny and I's review, approving the election services agreement for the joint election as well. So that's 2 different agreements: joint election and election services provided by Wilco, and designating my firm as the agent. If there's anybody wants to make that motion,
I
you'll be
would
done with
like
all
to
3
make
of
that
those.
motion.
All right, motion by Director Barnes to approve the election order and authorize our general manager as signatory for the elections stuff from the county, and to authorize our legal counsel as secretary for
Agent to the
agent to
secretary
the
for
secretary
election
for
services.
elections. What did I miss? Anything?
I think you got it.
I'll
I
second.
counted 3.
That's all.
I'll second.
Second by Director Horton. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries 5-0.
All right, thank you, directors.
Let's have an election.
Now, I've got a question about the election real quick. That's not discussion about the motion. Can I get an application because the last election cycle was just so fun? I want to do it again.
I've never explored the mechanics of a sitting director applying for another position, but I suspect we could talk about that.
Would he then get 2 nameplates?
Sir, you're not allowed to have that much fun.
All right.
Yes. Oh, thank you.
All right. Next item on the agenda, annual review of investment policy. I see we have a resolution in front of us. Is that true?
Yes, sir. And just as a reminder, this is one of our annual review requirements, and this is a product of the Texas Public Funds Investment Act, and it requires you to review your investment policy annually. To my knowledge, Jane's not recommending any revisions.
Nope.
And y'all have already adopted your policy. I believe I want to say it was 16 the last time y'all adopted a brand new one. But at any rate,
2018.
is that right? Yeah,
2018. Yeah.
18. Thank you. So y'all have had one on the books. There's no need to make any changes unless y'all just want to, unless you want to. The resolution that you got in front of you just readopts what's already in place.
Do we need a motion to this resolution?
Yes, sir.
Well, I make that motion.
Motion by Director Barnes to approve the district's investment policy.
Second.
Second by Director Smith. All in favor? All right, motion carries 5-0. Approved.
Are there 2 of these, or did I just get 2 copies?
It should
You
be.
may have a copy of the resolution and then the
That's
actual
exactly it.
policy itself
Yeah,
from
that's good.
Yeah, it's
2018.
the resolution,
Yeah.
and then,
It looks redundant, but
yeah, I just gave y'all a copy of the investment policy just in case. Hold that up and see what you got. You may have 2. No more.
Yeah, I got 2 of the same.
Okay, sorry.
That's all right.
Hey,
Lucky you.
I started saying, feel lucky, you got one. Okay.
Everybody want a second.
Item number 10 on the agenda, authorized preparation submission of annual eminent domain report.
yes.
Do we have such a report?
Yes, Mr. President, just as a reminder, again, another annual requirement levied against you by the good people of the Texas legislature. As always, I will be the one that will complete your eminent domain report as required by Chapter 2206 of the Government Code. And the report is exactly what it sounds like, in that if the district has had any kind of condemnation activity within the last year, we're required to report that. Obviously, we have not had any, so this will be a very quick confirm the district's identity, confirm the district's authority from law to carry out condemnation activities, and click submit. It goes off to the comptroller and it's in their database. So we just need a motion to authorize me to do that on the district's behalf, and that one will be done.
So moved.
All right, Director, motion by Director Horton to approve the preparation and submission of the annual eminent domain report. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Director Barnes. All in favor? All right, it's a go. Agenda item 11, annual review of the identity theft prevention program.
Yes, Mr. President, y'all will be glad to know this is the last time tonight you'll hear me say this is another annual requirement. The identity theft program, as a reminder, y'all first adopted the program back in April 13th of 2009. It became effective on May 1st of 2009. Y'all revised it significantly in 2016, and that is the iteration of the identity theft prevention program that's currently in place. Essentially, the program requires the district to adopt policies and procedures that prevent identity theft, much like the title of the program itself. That also includes, however, a report of any red flags that have been raised or detected within the last year. And red flags, for most intents and purposes, means fraudulent check writing activity, outside attempts, virtually or otherwise, to access the district's financial information or customer personal information. And to the best of my knowledge, we have not had any of those. With Ms. Miller having confirmed that there were no red flags, we just need a motion to reaffirm the policy unless there are questions or comments.
So I have a motion to approve the annual review of the Identity Theft Prevention Program.
I'll make said motion.
Motion by Director Horton,
Second it.
second by Director Smith. Any further comment? I will say I'm glad to see in here there is a suspicious account activity or unusual use of account in case anyone tries to do something with any of our water accounts, mess with some homeowners, assume a homeowner's identity in the district. So glad to see we've got something there.
Yes.
Because that would be awful, as any of the things listed in here would be
Terrible.
pretty bad. So, all right, all in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Review is accepted. All right, next item up for discussion: Roads Committee.
I do not have any updates on the roads or anything. I did talk to Texas Lawn and Garden today and asked them, we have that corner at Great Oaks and Harryman from the completion of the bridge project. And so we have that whole corner there. I've asked them to work on a proposal to, let's get that fixed. I think we can do something very nice right there. It's right there by the trail. It's bright water, comes down, hits Great Oaks. We have an awful lot of residents that use that trail area. So doing something in that corner is it's kind of imperative for erosion, but also it is the beginning of our district. If you're coming from, Olson Meadows, that stretch of trail, that would be where we should put up a new sign. I've asked them to look into like a rock sign, something natural, if you will. So basically you're leaving Brushy Creek mud and now you're coming into Fern Bluff mud,
Or the vice versa.
or vice versa.
Hey,
There you go.
want to leave, and now you're moving into Brushy Creek.
We could get one of those hands. Hi, bye. No, that wouldn't be good. But anyway, I've asked them to work on that proposal. But other than I have nothing else on the roads. I have not received any updates on the Wyoming Springs extension at all.
Okay. All right. Agenda item 13, General Manager and Operator Report.
My report is on, well,
Page 26.
thank you very much. We've managed again this year to have great success with our operations during freezing weather and such. We did get out information to our residents about, protecting their pipes, outdoor faucets, all of those things. We got that out before the long freeze. I mean, we had a short freeze, but then we had multiple days. So the district has been very fortunate. We've really not had any issues at all. Even with our parks and our irrigation and such, we've been very fortunate. Some of our residents have not been as fortunate. And so I just would like to say right here in a public meeting, the most important thing is covering those outside faucets, spigots, that's what a lot of people call them, the spigots, any exposed pipe, and inside your house, drip those faucets. Open the kitchen cabinets, both doors, have it open, and drip those faucets. I did a little unscientific test at my own home just to see how much water, So put a gallon pitcher under my kitchen faucet and nice steady little drip, okay? It took about an hour to get a gallon, all right? and mine was dripping pretty good. So it's really somewhere between a half gallon and a gallon of water. Well, do the math on that. You know, you're going to have several faucets in your house, half a gallon an hour, you know, for any period of time. And I think the biggest thing is for our residents to understand that we bill in the thousands. Every 1,000 gallons of water is $3.60. So you can drip a lot of faucets for a period of time before you hit 1,000 gallons. And if you think about that cost for that little bit of water versus paying the plumbing fees nowadays, it is money well spent. Our Texas homes are not meant for long freezes. They're just not. So open the cabinets and drip the faucets. It really won't affect your water bill very much.
Like the idea you had, we talked about where, if you save the water for other purposes, you can water your plants down the road or, take a cold bath.
No, I'm not doing that. But I did. I took all of those pictures that I kind of filled in and watered my plants and such. So I was going to use it anyway, you know. But and oh, one more thing. Too many people forget about their bathtub. You know, they'll do the faucets on the bathroom sinks and such, but they forget about that faucet and the bath faucet. You've got to drip that as well.
So you do every faucet in the house? God, for years I've done one upstairs and one down.
But we're in wastewater averaging. It's gonna raise my
No.
sewer bill by 38 cents next year.
Well, and that's a legitimate concern when you think about it. That is a legitimate concern. Say we have cold weather for a week. I mean, somebody do the math, whatever that is. I personally would rather pay that one extra 1,000 gallons of water all year long than pay $1,000 plumbing bill.
Well, when your pipe breaks, it becomes a free for all. You no longer have control over the flow rate, and that's another. And I spoke
Exactly.
I spoke facetiously, of course. This is something that occurred to me. I really come on, get a grip, Rich. But the first thing you got to do is make sure that your property is flowing water. You don't have frozen pipes, and then we'll worry about the utility costs.
And we will always, and I'm doing it now. When I say last week was crazy, but we are in winter averaging for our sewer bills for next year, and we always take care of our customers in those situations. We do our very best to find what's fair. As far as they've got a pipe break and they've got gushing water, whatever, what I normally do is I ask for, receipts from their repair, and then I'll just drop the month that occurred in. That's what we're here for. That's what we do. My biggest concern is that residents know that at a very small cost, they really can protect their house. Especially if it's the pipe that breaks upstairs and that water comes all the way down.
Yeah.
That's bad.
That's bad.
Fern Bluff Falls.
Yeah, for both. There you go. So we got that. Our AC units, we started getting all kind of little leaks in our ceiling tiles and such, and had a company come out, realized that the copper tubing for the drain lines everywhere, they started getting little pinholes in them. So rather than keep doing this and again subjecting us to possible damage, we just had all of the copper replaced from all of the units and put in PVC just as a precaution. It was going to happen to the units are all the same age, so whatever. So I put that in my report. It's really kind of
Money well spent.
very much money well spent. Yes.
Yeah, I saw some new doors when I walked up. They look good. I'm being supportive. I'm
I
being
appreciate
supportive and
that.
sincere.
I appreciate that.
Yes.
And okay, I'm sure you all saw the beautiful black aluminum doors when you walked up, and I'm sure you saw the wood in the side lights. I just thought we needed a more rustic look around here, so I think we're gonna keep the wood. What do y'all
Oh,
think?
we're not going to go with the stained glass with the Janie on one side, and Hector on the other.
That'll be Jeremiah and Hector.
Yeah.
We
did
could
say-
always-
Hello.
Jeremiah's going to be up top.
No, it'll be Janie at the top looking down, looking over, right?
You know, we could
Ah,
we could just
We
paint
did save
those
two
and then
panes
paint
of
your
glass,
images
so-
on it.
that,
It'd be cheaper.
it would be cheaper.
That's
We're getting
funny.
there. Let me just say we're getting there. And I do hope y'all aesthetically looked at it. And what do you think? Looks good, doesn't it?
Metal looks good. Yeah.
It's going to look good. This is worse than having your wisdom teeth pulled out 12 times. It just has been. Okay. So we'll get all the doors in, get all the trim done. We're going to have to hire our own trim. We knew this, whatever. And then we're going to have to deal with the electronics on the doors and such because of our security system and all of that. We're getting there.
Cool.
Slow but steady wins the race.
Slow but
Thank you for that.
no, just slow.
Thank you, Mark.
Do we have,
I'm
do
glad
we
that's
have them all
recorded.
partially installed yet, or are we still waiting for some to be installed? I didn't look around the whole building.
We are all partially installed except for
Like-
that door.
The worst one.
Okay.
The worst one.
Oh, really?
That was the
Okay.
whole.
That's the one with the
That's
door
when
dog on
it's
the.
so rotted out. Yeah.
Okay.
This week I hope for that door.
Keep our fingers crossed.
Even if I have to go get it from San Antonio myself.
Yeah, there you go. Special delivery.
I'm just gonna say, and close your ears. I'm just bragging on these two guys. They have been, Jeremiah and Hector have just been amazing. Some of the trim work that's already been, Hector and Jeremiah did it just so our holiday rental customers didn't have this glaring awful door. Okay, we couldn't completely finish it because we do have to go back in and put all our electronics in, but these guys jumped in and just got it done. I just don't know how to say thank you enough. And we've got some really good staff here. Just
Yeah, we do.
I'm not
Really do.
surprised
That's
it's
not
what
by
they
accident.
do.
they're pretty
Absolutely.
handy. They're pretty
Absolutely.
handy.
Thank you, guys.
We try.
I didn't do the trim. I'm just going to tell you. All the weatherizing and everything. So that's where we are. What are the questions you have for me?
No question.
Excellent.
Yeah, good.
Hector, anything on the water side?
MS4. Yeah, they're still skipping along. I think they're related to our door guys, but at some point we'll get to doing a new permit with whatever changes they conjure up. So other than that, like operationally, we're doing okay. Hanging in there. I had to replace one piece of equipment. Cost $1,000, but for the amount of time it lasts and the amount of sampling that we get done with it, it just costs doing business. So,
That's what we do.
but yeah, we're pretty solid.
Hector, I'm sorry. What'd you note that you had to replace? I didn't catch that.
Oh, it's a probe to measure nitrate.
Okay.
So just a water sampling probe. So,
Okay.
yeah, we tend to sample. It's a probe, so I mean, you just stick it in the water. It will give you some numbers. But our requirement is to measure that number quarterly. Quarterly is not
Not enough.
to get trends and stuff. So we'll do it once a week. It keeps our guys fresh as to the process. If you do it quarterly, you're learning to do it.
You'll go back to the manual. I get it.
So we're doing it weekly, and I mean, yeah, we're spending a little bit more on the reagents and sampling stuff, but money well spent.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
that-
surely in a quarter, if it's out of bounds with a quarterly check, it's going to take a lot to get it remedied.
absolutely. Yes, sir.
That's excellent.
Oh, yeah. And then you may over do something and it becomes like a pendulum swing back and forth till you get it to where you need it to be.
Well, the ramifications of those numbers going whack
Yeah.
is
You get
tons of flushing,
floral.
which is bad for
Oh.
yeah, because basically you have to just flush all that stuff out, and
Okay.
we do some flushing. In fact, we started making our own flushing devices because those devices are $2,700 or something like that. We're building them for about 700. So I figure we can have more flushing devices and cover the areas that need to be flushed based off of those sample results and say, okay, well, we see changes in water quality, we're on the flushing. So yeah, it's we got a high caliber water operator over here, so so we're good. We're in good hands.
When your nitrates are high, you get a lot of problems with your effluent being too green producing.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Lots of floral algae and complaints, and there are problems with Brushy Creek and things are choking up. But yeah, it's awesome you're on top of that.
Or that's priority one for operations. So.
Absolutely.
On that line, just a comment that cap y'all installed down at Harryman by Sea Ash Greenbelt. Yeah, that's working well. Walking past it, no inconveniences. Walking by, all the water we're getting. Yeah.
Nice.
So, yep.
We were talking about that. And like, okay, did
I,
it work? Did it
I just
not?
thought when I walked by this morning, I actually thought, hey, this is kind of
Sweet.
nice. Yeah.
Nice.
All right,
Muggy and wet and yeah.
that's a plus.
You got it. You got it.
Sweet. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank
Very
you.
good. All right.
I guess we're
Budget.
still there. What do we have? Wait a second. That was in the GM.
Anything else?
We have not been able to work on the RFQ for a solid waste provider. So let's just move that to the next meeting.
Okay.
The only other thing is we need to make an amendment to our rate order. And Zach can help with the language here, but that prohibits multiple water and wastewater connections on a single residential lot.
Right.
And I think we could just add that in there if the board is amenable to that.
Didn't we talk about this starting November? A couple times
We
ago?
did, we kind of talked about it, but
Thanks.
now I need the board's approval for us to go in and make that change to our rate order. And then we'll bring it back in February so y'all can vote on the language.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no. Go ahead and draft it up. And
Okay.
We'll put it on the agenda for next month to vote up or we'll vote it up or down. I'm sure we'll approve it if everything looks good.
Okay.
I don't think any of us have an issue with restricting it to one wastewater and one water connection per lot in the district. I don't think it has a problem.
Perfect.
So if we're doing rate order stuff, it might be a good idea to go ahead and tack on doing inspections or formalizing our inspection process and backflow. I mean, I know we've already basically adopted by reference City of Round Rock's backflow procedures, but be nice to have our own
Have it in our rate order.
if the board's amenable to that.
Let's do it.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, draft that up.
That is it.
All right. Director Barnes, we have anything for the budget committee?
I think that probably most of everything was kind of covered with Mr. Altman. According to our audits report, we're doing pretty well. We're sitting pretty good.
I agree. It's always good when we've got transparency and someone outside auditor can go through our accounts and receipts and look at everything and not only, tell us that the numbers are true, but we're moving in the right direction. I think that's great. All right. Parks and Recreation Committee, anything?
We're getting through winter.
District Center Committee, slowly getting new doors.
The center booking revenue report wasn't in the packet. Cindy was out sick all last week, and y'all need to give her your condolences. Not only was she really sick last week, her apartment flooded again.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, bad week. Bless her heart. Anyway, so the report's there. I gave each one of you
Good. We're
December. Yeah, it was a good month.
Back on track with the rentals.
Yeah.
Excellent. Deed Restriction Committee.
Nothing restriction wise, but ACC, we're seeing a little bit of, there's some conversations. A homeowner actually made a request, ACC request for approval, some color changes, so for the property. The most interesting part about it is they want to paint the brick blue on their house. And so it's becoming a point of conversation among the committee. We'll see how the committees comes to on this. I did provide comment that I'm not aware of any instances of blue painted houses within Fern Bluff, or even at the larger scale elsewhere in the district. But it's just interesting to see how that comes out. After reviewing the deed restrictions for Fern Bluff neighborhood, it really is kind of up to the committee to set the standard, and I guess per committee and per applicant basis. So yes, we could have a blue painted brick house if they get agreement from the committee, but we'll see how it goes. Maybe not.
So you're referring to whether it's an unsightly item or not, I take it?
Base really kind of suitability. It is a request. This is the homeowner's vision for the property, basically, their property, and how they want what they want to do. And of course, it's the committee's job, if you will, to consider how that might or might not fit in with their location, their neighbors, and so on and so forth.
Did they submit a paint chip?
They have paint chips submitted.
Yeah.
And their samples, they have multiple paint chips for various parts of the house they're painting.
Trim,
Color-wise.
door, yeah.
Yeah, trim and woodwork. And, the trim and woodwork is not really the same as what we see where the builders did. But it looks, my opinion, it looks nice, respectable, but I think to then go put blue brick around the rest of it, this is very much a one-off opportunity for that property, very standoffish. And it could be negative, it could be to their detriment or to their neighbor's detriment. Discussing with one of my neighbors' conversation this afternoon, you might look really smashing, it looks outstanding, but stands like a sore thumb and might actually be the detriment of the neighbors and the overall neighborhood look. So having one nicely painted fingernail on your hand, pick your finger, doesn't necessarily make it look good on your hand.
Interesting.
That
So-
is becoming a huge trend, and we do have a lot of painted brick.
Yeah.
But it's all white. I haven't seen anything either in Stone Canyon or,
Oak Brook has denied many requests for painted brick.
Painted brick.
yeah.
You've denied it?
Yeah, the ACC did some studying and.
I don't
in
mind
terms
it,
of,
but
durability is questioned
Yeah.
and as well as just, like you said, it's standoffish, even though we've had homeowners come in and say, well, it modernizes the neighborhood. Well,
Chip and Joanne use it all the time.
So you have to do, so first of all,
They
you have,
do?
if you have to do it
Fixer-uppers.
right,
If JoJo does it,
if you don't do it right, it peels quickly.
Yeah.
Right.
And you
if
have to use brick paint.
Yeah, and if you do it, there's a good there's priming processes as well. And if you don't do it right or it doesn't work out, or if you do it right and doesn't look right, it can be hard to set back. So, and those really kind of asides. We'll leave it to the committee to assess, determine, have the conversations, and we'll see how it goes from here.
so I'm just curious, when you say paint the brick blue, are we talking like President's shirt blue, or are we talking like a dusty kind of?
So interestingly enough, the homeowner that submitted it, I described it as a light or very faint blue. But when I looked at the paint chip, I can share it with you after the meeting, it looked more like the medium blue in Director Sabatino's shirt. No, not that one, but down
One below.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Right there.
above that,
This.
just above that darker one.
Yeah, that's pretty
A
close.
little
actually.
more
That's
like-
kind of, yeah, that seems to be kind of.
Kind of a grayish blue?
It is not, in my observation, it's not a white with a cast of blue to it. It's more like a blue with white in it. But again, we'll leave it to the committee to look at and see what they come up with, pushback wise or so forth.
Director Smith,
yes, sir.
when you said the painted brick was denied in the Oak Brook HOA, was that as an unsightly item or was there some other provision?
It was, I mean, the ACC has the authority to decide what really fits in the neighborhood or not. One of the, sections
Okay.
Stone
Specifically
Canyons, I believe,
calls out that they
it's
have the
in the
license
DCCNRs.
to make a decision on that. And they, like I said, I've got a realtor, a property manager, and a engineer on our ACC. And these guys do their homework when they see something that they're not sure about. And they just decided that it really doesn't fit the neighborhood and they're worried about the durability and like he said, if it doesn't look good, what's the next step, right?
Right.
How do you get it off the brick? But anyway, in short, that's what I remember from that. It's been a while.
Okay.
Couple
Alright.
months since I've seen that.
Well, the ACC will have to figure that out.
Yeah, we'll see. So that's the update on that.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
Security Committee. Dr. Barnes, do you have anything for Security Committee?
I don't. Director Sabatino, do you have anything for security?
I do. I noticed, saw a news story today about fentanyl deaths in Williamson County. So including Brush Creek area overdose. So this is a scourge on many areas of the country. So just something to watch out for. If it's just a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing. So we're not immune to it. So
No. No, we're not.
Kind of along those same lines, there is, I know that we're seeing, I'm hoping that they're not seeing it much at Fern Bluff Elementary or some of the other elementaries in the mud, but I guess there's not another elementary in the mud. I know that at the high school level and even at the middle school level, there's also an uptake in vaping. And if y'all were unaware, there was a recent Texas House bill that passed that said basically any kind of vaping, if you are caught with a vape at school, it is an automatic trip to DAEP, the Alternative Education Program, which for Round Rock, it's called Round Rock Opportunity Center. If it is a nicotine vape, it is a 5-day trip. If it's a THC vape, it's a 30-day. Plus, I think that the THC comes with a
Possibility of criminal conviction.
possibility of,
I think that's a felony, if I remember right.
I think so.
Unless you can prove it's for glaucoma. I'm sorry. I couldn't resist.
So,
Third
so
grade
yeah, so
glaucoma.
there's
That's
the
bad.
fentanyl
Sorry.
is
No, no, no.
rising, but there's also lots of
Everywhere.
stuff that's going on out there. So,
But, we contract with the sheriff's office. We get extra patrols in our area. So glad that that's happening because for a while that wasn't happening. But we've got that going again.
Is Great Oaks Elementary in the mud?
It's in Brush Creek mud.
Brushy Creek.
Brushy Creek.
So is Brush Creek Elementary. So,
What's the?
all right. Agenda item 19, communications. Director Smith, do we have anything?
I'm sorry?
Do we have anything
Oh.
for communications?
I think what we want to do is our next newsletter should go out in February. I think we could talk about the date for end of wastewater averaging. That's the only topic I can think of at the moment. So if anybody has any thoughts in terms of additional topics for the next newsletter, I'm all ears. If you send it to me in email, I'll be all eyes.
Sorry.
So anyway, like I said, that's my thought is to put something out in February, identifying wastewater averaging end and any other hot topics that maybe come up.
I don't recall, was it last month I mentioned this? And then I think we're going to do some checking regarding recycling at,
Oh, yeah, about styrofoam?
yeah.
She
so
checked on that. They don't do it.
No, don't do it.
They don't do curbside, of course.
No, they don't
No.
do it at the hazardous waste or the Round Rock dump either.
You're talking about at Deepwood.
Taking to Deepwood.
I
yes.
didn't do it.
Okay.
I have not. I will write myself a
Okay.
note.
I thought you did.
So-
Because
Huh?
I asked you about that. Whether they do styrofoam. And you said, no, they don't. You called them up. You're a liaison.
I went over there because they now take a lot of things that they didn't. It was just household hazardous waste.
Mhm.
Oh my God, this was right before
It was
Christmas. I'm trying to
yeah.
remember.
So I've taken.
Look
a
at
couple-
it. It's like, oh my gosh, that was
They
a
got
month ago.
all the styrofoam that came in the boxes. I wanted it, if we could recycle
They do
it.
not take it.
I've taken a
They-
couple of styrofoam since our last meeting even and dropped them off there with a new cardboard and they
Perhaps
recycle it.
perhaps they're taking it from you. Oh, that's right. And I called their environmental department and they don't have the machine yet to take care of styrofoam.
They
I'm
must-
telling you,
seen
that's
the
what they told me.
So if we roll back, let's take styrofoam off the table. So because the point came up is, can we even take stuff over there without a Round Rock water bill for household recycling?
Yeah, well, we get a certificate through the mud. We
Yeah, vouchers.
have vouchers.
I've-
I'm going next month.
I've never been asked for a voucher even.
I have.
For-
You look like an honest guy. Rich.
For 15
Either
years.
that or they just don't want to mess with him.
For
They're like,
15
do
years.
whatever you want.
He looks like
Yeah.
a round.
Did
rock.
you have your
You know,
Aggie
maybe
hat
it's the
on?
AR-15 I carry in
Yeah,
my back
yeah.
and I recycle everything. I don't have an
It
AR.
is
No, it's
probably
because you were
just
wearing
special.
an Aggie hat and they felt sorry for
Yeah.
you.
Now I am remembering this. They don't take it. I can't believe. And what they said was they want to get one of the machines because more and more people are requesting it.
Right.
That's exactly right.
They have the machine. I put it in myself. They have the machine.
Okay, they're keeping it a secret.
Anybody that
all right.
has
You're not
Maybe
losing
something
your
down
mind,
the road.
styrofoam
Richard.
that needs to be
It's just a big
recycled, please
secret.
take it to Rich Horton's driveway
Yeah.
and he will be happy to take
Feel
care of it
bad.
for you.
I am going first Wednesday of the February,
Perfect.
and I will grab some styrofoam and
And-
see if they'll take it.
And see if
Perfect.
they ask for your voucher. See if they
Well-
even bother asking for your voucher.
Well,
I mean,
we
they-
don't
you have
want
to
to-
stop.
Those vouchers
Stop
are
you.
$40.
Yeah, so don't waste it.
So we need to keep those with chemicals and such because that has to do with operations, our MS4.
Mhm.
We do not, my opinion, we do not want to give away $40 vouchers for people that don't want to take care of their own packing debris at their home. Okay? That's my opinion and that's up to the board, but that's not a good use of the household hazardous waste.
No, but if you
vouchers.
take, like, for instance, I'm taking batteries and paint
And-
and stuff.
Perfect.
and
But
I'll
if
throw it-
But if
yeah,
they'll
not
take
just
it
for
when you
styrofoam.
go to take your paint, wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah, yeah.
It'd be great. And I do know that they are trying to expand, kind of what they're doing.
What they're
That
doing.
little guy underneath the little.
Yeah, little canopy there or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's a guy under.
Okay. Anyway.
So-
I'll have to-
Wait a minute. Where are you
That's a start.
talking about going?
So
Deepwood?
right turn signal off of Deepwood. You turn in, immediately turn to the right.
Correct.
And there's a little a shed there. I've
Mhm.
never seen anybody in the little shed there.
Oh yeah.
Ever. I know before I make that left-hand turn, I see there's a little shed up there and a guy. I've never, ever spoken to that guy.
You know, that's the normal.
Yeah, to the dump. I make the
Waste.
immediate left-hand turn
Right.
and there's like batteries and oil. And I
Correct.
put so many gallons of oil in those things. And then over here, there's cardboard. And I take cardboard boxes to him. And they also have those little styrofoam egg crates.
Right.
Yeah, I dump those up all the time. No one ever asked me, where do you live? No.
Wow.
So, and maybe they want to keep some of the down low so they don't have 1,101 of us lining up with our styrofoam crates from HEB.
That could be.
You know what they're really doing is that you're going after hours. So there's no-
Rich is breaking in over there.
Yeah, the guy who's showing up at 1 a.m. with the bolt
Okay.
cutters, right?
So-
Okay.
Midnight
They
recycling.
You know
do
what?
take the egg
Let's
crates,
do a
though,
test,
the
guys.
styrofoam?
Yeah,
Not in
right-
a
right
mud
next to
truck.
the
Let's do a
cardboard.
test.
Go do it. Go check
I,
it out.
I,
throw
I
those
will
in the bin.
absolutely check it out again.
Yeah, that would be good. Maybe
And
there's
maybe
something's
it's something
changed.
that they want us to keep on the down low. Because
Well,
and I-
just remember, in fairness, I need to point this out. We are not City of Round Rock residents. We're not. We don't pay their taxes. It was a hard fought battle to get that agreement between us
Mhm.
and the City of Round Rock for household hazardous waste, so it stopped going into our storm drains and such. So if they're wanting to keep this on the down low, then I respect that.
Maybe we don't want to say anything.
Right.
So maybe just word of mouth to your neighbors, say, hey, you can do this, but don't tell them I said. I sent
But
you.
do you go on the first Wednesday of the month? Because that's when the vouchers are good. You can only go one day a month with the vouchers that we offer.
I
You,
Yeah,
yeah,
I-
yeah. So
I
you
just
walk in.
just go when the spirit moves
Incognito.
me, and I've got a stack of egg crates like this under my desk in the kitchen. Yeah, okay, it's time to
Okay,
go
yeah.
again. So, yeah, I'm just
That-
Joe Recycler.
Just watching.
I would appreciate if Director Smith would take his styrofoam over there and see if we can calm down Director Horton's rage against the machine.
I am.
You need to borrow his Aggie hat, though.
Yeah.
I would take a picture and say, have you seen this man? I really would.
That I might do.
Okay, we're good.
How's that song go about heck no, I won't go. Heck, what's the rage song go? Is it,
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the words right now.
won't do what you told me. Heck no, I won't do what you told me. Heck no, I won't do what you told me. That's a great song. The band I used to road for would do that. Oh man, just turn the place inside out. Oh, man, I'm sorry. Anyway, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for enduring my.
Yeah. Wow, that was enlightening.
All right. So we're going to do the attorney's report. We do need to talk about stuff in closed session. So under Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code, the Texas Open Meetings Act authorizes the board to convene an executive session for certain purposes. These purposes include receiving legal advice from its attorney, Section 551.071. At this time, we will move into executive session. The time is 7:14 on agenda item number 20.
Thank you.
That is a good song, though.
That is
Oh
a
my
good song.
gosh.
I don't know that song.
That is good.
No, I was sitting amongst a bunch of rebels.
I didn't either.
How do you know that? How do you of all people don't know that song?
I saw
Who's the
Rage
band
in
that-
San
Rage
Diego
Against the
2000.
Machine. Did you?
Oh,
I
okay.
think it was.
I know
I've
it.
seen them. So I'm like,
Sorry, now. The
Yeah,
way
couldn't-
you were singing it
Look
didn't
at
quite.
Love you, I won't do what you told me. Love you, I won't do what you told me. They don't say I
A
love
little
you.
bit more background.
Yeah.
on that, yeah.
So Kelsey knows every Rage Machine Against the Machine song there is, and she always sings it at karaoke.